I'm going to talk today about peace. I'm going to talk about it in a somewhat peaceful manner, in actual fact. I took a pause in these videos for a couple of months because I kind of ran out of solutions to offer to problems, because at the back of my mind, I know the problem isn't really the problem, and therefore the solution isn't really a solution. And there's something much wider that I want to talk about today. So the penny only dropped a couple of months ago, in actual fact. The reason why I've been doing all the videos in these beautiful vast expanses, so I've got this incredible mountain background behind, and I've done the videos from the Grand Canyon and from these vast Sonoran desert landscapes with a horizon which seems to be as wide as the planet, sort of thing. And I thought when I did the videos, the reason I was doing that was to kind of, if there's something beautiful in the background and I talk about something beautiful, well, then maybe I'll move people in a way that will allow them to shift their state and come up with different solutions. And the penny only dropped a couple of months ago that it's far more profound than that. That when you're in an environment as vast and as awesome as this, the curious thing about it is that you come with a sense of not knowing. That's what I hadn't appreciated. But it feels brilliant, okay? And that's why I want to talk about it. That's why I want to talk about peace. So you stand on the edge of the Grand Canyon and you look out, or you stand on the top of a hill and you see a horizon as vast as the universe, and you feel so small, and it's filled with wonderment. You kind of feel, or at least I feel, how can this be? How can it be so extraordinary? How can it be so beautiful? I'm so small, I don't know. I don't understand. And it feels good. And normally the interesting thing is when you don't understand, when you don't know, it doesn't feel good. It feels like it needs fixing. And that's the reason why I've been doing these videos out here. It's to bring about that sense of not knowing and to see where that can lead, to play with that. So to get back to peace, peace comes from the not knowing. Peace comes from creating an empty vessel. Peace doesn't mean letting go of everything. It doesn't mean giving up on everything. It doesn't mean that you won't have feelings and drives and goals and wishes and fears and grief and trigger points. It doesn't mean any of that. But behind all of that is a tremendous sense of connection. I was going to say stability, but it's beyond stability. It is connection. It is simplicity. It is, to use the cliche, it is oneness. So the beauty of the landscape at one point creates an observation of differentiation between me and that, between me and you. And at the same time creates a sense of utter connected oneness, that I and you are the same, that I and the sky and the chamois and the trees and the birds, and we're all interrelated, interconnected, all one. But we're all together as an expression of something larger than that we can't understand. But the point is that that level of peace brings about a sense where everything is somehow perfect. It's not understandable. It's running on its own universal rules. And we're all manifestations of an element of that. And so the ego fades away a little bit from that. But the whole point of this is creating that sense of unknowing, of the empty vessel. Okay, here's a solution then. Okay, so the question obviously then is, if I'm not feeling like the empty vessel, what do I do? How do I create this feeling of unknowing? Because to a lot of people, if you don't know, it's not nice. We have this craving to fill the gap, to fill it with an understanding, to work out stuff. And when it comes to our personal existence, why we're here, what that means, what it doesn't mean, how we relate, and all that kind of stuff. So it's uncomfortable not knowing. That's why I've brought you out here to the middle of the beautiful nothingness to kind of say, no. The other side of that cliff, the not knowing, is tremendously, awesomely, connectedly beautiful. Inside, within. Because within, without, cease to have that friction. So you let go as a result of that, not as an objective of that. You come to a sense of radical acceptance of all. Your concept of what it is to be you, of your self-importance, fades away because we're all in this as one. And yet we have these stories running inside our head that explain the differentiation between me and you. And it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's wondrous. It's extraordinary. It's an adventure. Because even though it's predetermined in some strange way that is bigger than my ken, it is unknown. And so it's exciting. And so we still live our days, yeah? We still have thrills and fears. We still have desires and fears and shame and guilt and grieving and friendship and all these things, they're still there. But behind that is a sense of deeply rested foundation, stability, connection, bountiful beauty that gives you a sense, to come back to solution, of security. And so you can go on what I kind of describe as your golden path. Yeah, you can go to do, to act in the ways that feel most like you, because that sense of security permeates out. So how do you create this feeling of empty vessel? There are lots of ways. Now, one is obviously this. Yeah, you can come out to a place which resonates with you, that makes you feel so small or so in awe that it shifts your state. You can also, though, ask a vastly expansive question. Who am I to talk of this vastly expansive question? Who am I? Because I'm not picking my words now. This is not scripted. I don't know what I'm going to say next. So who is doing the speaking? When am I doing the speaking? Where am I doing the speaking from? Any of those sort of questions. The answer ultimately is, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's me. It doesn't appear to be the me that I think is a me. It seems to be coming from somewhere else. It conjures up, and it's almost as if my words are being channeled from something else. I don't know where they're coming from. So any of those type of questions will bring about a sense of not knowing, a sense of the empty vessel. And if you dive into that sensation, it feels safe. It feels peaceful. It feels beautiful. It feels all thing. It doesn't exist. I think I've said on a few of the videos before, sometimes I come up with this phrase, I love you. And sometimes I take away the I, and it becomes love you, love you. Sometimes I take away the you, and it becomes I love. But always then I take away the other one. And you're left with everything. You're left with enormous, awesome everything. Maybe as I've talked about these things, maybe you found a sense of peace. Maybe this sheer act of the communication, of the relating, I hope, is my gift to you, is that it delivers a sense of unknowing, a sense of connected all-thingness, a sense of no-thingness, a sense of no, a sense of all, a sense of oneness. Okay, I think that's enough for today. Well, my videos going forward are going to be ever so slightly different. Let's see where they go. All right, thanks for watching. If this sort of weirdness is of interest to you, subscribe. Have a look at my other videos. There are many of my videos which are far more practical and grounded and solution-driven. It's just that what I've come to understand is that the problem is very rarely the problem. And therefore the solution is very rarely the universal solution. The story is a veil, and there is something far more fundamental behind. We tend to be chasing a feeling or running away from a feeling. But what is it that that means? Who is doing the chasing? When am I doing the chasing? Where am I doing the chasing? And I don't know is the answer. And there is the expanse of unlimited potential. And from that can come creativity, can come fun, can come adventure, can come excitement, can come invention. Okay, I'll shut up. Thanks for watching. Welcome.